One of the questions I get asked most frequently is, how do you eliminate the mind chatter? How do you silence the mind? I've started meditating, I've tried it, but I just can't keep my mind silent. Well, guess what, guys? That's totally normal. Don't worry about it. You're not expected to make your mind totally silent. And if you do, you're probably in some transcendent state off the planet. So I definitely don't worry about that in your beginning stages of meditation, especially. There's a few methods I can give you to quiet down that mind chatter. The first one, and my favorite one, is to just not listen to them. You hear it, but you're not listening to it. It's kind of like having a TV in the other room. You can hear it, but you're not listening to it. Or you can imagine clouds going by. You see the clouds going by, but you're not grabbing onto them. Or another analogy that I heard that I really like is, if you imagine that you're sitting by a river and you're watching the stream and a spider web comes by, a clump of twigs with spider webs in them, you would simply resist the urge to reach over and grab it and pull it out. It's the same kind of thing. You just don't latch onto the thoughts. So let's say a thought comes into your mind about going to the grocery store. You just let that thought come and go, rather than grabbing onto it. And if you grab onto it, you might go, oh, I need this, this, and this, and you'll keep going. That's grabbing onto it. But if you don't grab onto it, it's just like, I need to go to the grocery store. And then it comes and goes. And then another thought happens. But what you'll begin to notice is that there's a rising and falling. You'll begin to notice there's a gap in between those thoughts. So your next thought might be, I don't know, whatever. I have a test tomorrow. So in between those thoughts, there's a gap. What's there? What's there in that gap? It's a good question to ask. Another tip is to try a mantra. So I have a mantra that I use that was given to me by a spiritual teacher. You can just say Om. You can just say Om. You can say Om peace. Another method is you can focus on your breath and you can repeat inhale, exhale as you're breathing. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. It really works well if you're having trouble focusing. It really does. So you can do a mantra. You can say inhale, exhale, which is sort of like a mantra. And you can treat it like a TV in the other room. Another method is to give that monkey mind a job. So if you're listening to a guided meditation, you can ask that monkey mind to say, repeat for me the words of the guided meditation. I think the biggest thing is just to forgive yourself if you're having a lot of thoughts. Just forgive yourself. Let it go. Whatever your point of focus is in your meditation, just return to that focus. Return to the breath. Just keep returning to the breath. And don't worry, if you had a bad meditation, don't worry about it. Keep going. Next time you'll have good meditation. These things happen. It's part of life. I want to give some tips to make your meditations more effective. So I think it's important, first of all, to know why you are meditating. Are you meditating because you want to become enlightened? Are you meditating because you want to reduce stress? Are you meditating because you want to be happier? You don't want to be depressed anymore? Are you doing it because you want to be healthier? Are you doing it because your friends have told you about it and you keep seeing stuff about it on the internet and you just want to see what the big hoopla is all about? You know, it's important to know why you're meditating. If you're just going to try it because everybody's doing it, then you might not get the best benefit out of it. So I think it's important to know why you are doing it. I don't profess to be enlightened. Definitely don't. I'm just sharing with you what I know, and I hope it helps you. I've been going through teacher training, been going through training to be a meditation host for the past 1.5 years. I've gone through so many classes and seminars. I'm certified associate pranic healer. So I have some experience, but I still would not profess to be an expert. So I want to give some tips to help you make your meditation practice more effective. So the first thing I'd suggest is to invoke. Invoking can make your meditation so much more powerful. If you believe in a higher power or a spiritual teacher, whether it's Christ or Buddha or whoever, invoke for them and thank them when you're done, and notice if it's made your meditation more powerful. It probably will. Another suggestion is to go on retreats. Going on retreats can make things so much more powerful. It gives you the time to go into that extra depth. So whether it's a 1-day retreat or a 5-day retreat or a month-long retreat, whatever it is, if you go on a meditation retreat of some kind, it can really give you that time and that space to just really let go and go deeper into your practice. So I highly recommend that if you haven't tried that yet. Another tip is practice daily. I can't emphasize this enough. And you'll hear it over and over again from everybody who teaches this stuff. Do it every day. Every day. You can start out with 5 minutes and go up. Start out with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and work your way up. When you have a regular meditation practice and you're doing it daily and consistently, it helps to build up the energy. It helps to build up that spiritual energy of that area where you're sitting. It helps to build that momentum. And if you're doing it every day, you're less likely to stop. And you're more likely to get into more depth. When you're meditating every day, you're more likely to reach more depth and to reach more benefits. And I notice if I have skipped a day, I notice that my day is different. And I really miss it if I miss it. I really miss it if I don't get to meditate. Group meditations are another great way to make your practice even deeper. So if you've just been meditating at home and you haven't tried going to a group meditation, I would highly recommend trying a group meditation. Whether you go to a Meditation on Twin Hearts group or another group, when you meditate as a group, it's like there's this intention. There's a group energy and there's an intention, and I think it can really help to amplify things. And vice versa, if you've only been meditating in groups, try meditating alone. I think it's good to do both. I meditate every day alone, and I meditate with a group once a week. So you may want to try something like that. Read spiritual books. You can listen to audiobooks if that's your thing. I think reading spiritual books has really given me a lot of insight to my practice. So one of the quotes from Roy Eugene Davis, who's a Kriya Yoga teacher, he always says is read a little, meditate more, think of God all the time. And those were words that came from Paramahansa Yogananda that he told him. So I would say the same thing. When you read spiritual books, and it can help you get a lot of insight into your practice. Some recommendations I have are to read Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda and Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Suzuki Roshi. Also, any of Grandmaster Choa books are wonderful books. So many good ones. Just look them up. Another tip I have for you is to meditate in nature. And if you haven't tried this, it can be really nice if you can find a spot where you can be left alone and you can sit under a tree or sit somewhere where you're not disturbed by bugs. Then I think that's really great, and it's really rewarding, especially if you can sit for a long time, like more than 30 minutes or even a whole hour. It can be really rewarding. Even if you're just sitting there for 10 minutes, I think it's rewarding. And having that contact with the earth, it also helps you, ground electrically. So that's a wonderful benefit. Another tip I want to give is, if you get the chance to meet a highly evolved spiritual teacher, take that opportunity and meet them. It's when you have that contact physically with a highly evolved spiritual being that can really change you. And the more developed they are, the more likely it is to change you. I met Amma the Hugging Saint over a year ago now, and I think just being in her presence changed me. And I've met other highly evolved spiritual teachers, and being around them has helped me. So I would also say, in addition to that, changing your circle of friends can help you. If you get rid of the negative people in your life as much as you can, and you surround yourself with more positive people, that will change your mind. It'll help you change your mindset. It'll help you change your consciousness. When your consciousness evolves, your life evolves. Eventually, meditation is not going to just be something that you sit in for 10 minutes a day. It'll be your whole life. So there it is. Namaste.